time for Medical Monday here on Wisconsin Tonight. Dr. Brian Klicka, Baycare Clinic, talking about some overdoing it when you're starting your spring workout training. What do you typically see when people are kind of getting out there for the first time in a few months?
Well, oftentimes people, when they're getting out there for the first time, they're getting in it too quickly. They can have overuse, overactivity type syndromes like tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, patellar tendonitis, shin splints. I'm sure you've heard of many of those. So those often are very common symptoms and syndromes.
And that's just it. Once you get one of those injuries, is it going to set you back? I mean, how hard is it to come back from something like that?
Well, the most difficult thing is you actually have to take a step back from what you're doing.
Right.
Everyone wants to be doing it and getting back into it, but you have to take a step away and then modify the activity, icing, elevation, that sort of thing acutely, and then exercises, strengthening, and then gradually ramp back up to the activity.
What types of things do you see these injuries in most commonly? Would it be like, what kind of sports would you say?
Oftentimes running is a big one, and people are just taking on too many miles too quickly. They're not stretching appropriately. So another tip with that is stretching pre as well as post exercise, as well as doing appropriate stretching. So you want to do static stretching for 30 to 60 seconds for a couple sets, and oftentimes people do more ballistic type stretches that just aren't effective, and they basically can cause injury.
Why are people doing it, overdoing it so often, especially in springtime? Why does this happen?
I think people just are excited to get out in the weather.
Sure.
And they're probably setting far-fetched or inappropriate goals for one, which we're all guilty of.
After you miss the New Year's resolution, you're trying to make up for it a couple months later?
Exactly.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about the tips. What other stuff, the stretching, things like that, what else can you do to kind of prevent this?
Yeah, good diet, of course, is very important. Fluid intake, we're all guilty of not taking in enough fluid. So you're actually supposed to take in about half of your body weight.
Yes, in ounces, right?
Exactly, and that's just your
I do know this one.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's just your maintenance dose. You're taking more than that actually for exercise as well. So just keeping your body healthy is of utmost importance.
So kind of start off slow or gradual. What would you recommend to somebody?
No, it's definitely a slow approach at first. So if you're doing mileage, for example, running, you want to take your mileage up very slowly, week by week, rather than jumping into it right away. Many of the therapists that we work with, they have a return to running protocol that is very useful, and I'm sure online there's plenty of those available. So just make recommendations of abiding by that.
Perfect. Don't overdo it because you're going to set yourself back even further.
Exactly.
All right, that's the good takeaway. All right, thanks, Doc. We appreciate it.